Most women over 50 believe their morning exhaustion is simply a normal part of aging. But what if the real problem is happening deep inside your hormonal system while you sleep? You may be spending 7 or 8 hours in bed and still waking up feeling mentally foggy, physically drained, and completely unrefreshed. In many cases, the true cause is not a lack of sleep. It's a disruption in cortisol rhythm and adrenal stress. Cortisol is one of the most important hormones in the human body. It is produced by the adrenal glands which sit on top of the kidneys. This hormone controls your energy levels, blood sugar stability, inflammation, metabolism, and even your sleep-wake cycle. Under normal conditions, cortisol follows a very specific rhythm. It should be low at night to allow deep sleep, and then gradually rise in the early morning to help you wake up feeling alert, energized, and mentally focused. But after the age of 50, many women begin to lose this natural cortisol rhythm. One major reason is hormonal change during menopause. As estrogen and progesterone levels decline, the nervous system becomes more sensitive to stress. Progesterone normally has a calming effect on the brain and helps support deeper sleep. When progesterone drops, the body becomes more vulnerable to nighttime cortisol spikes. This means the brain may remain partially alert during sleep, even if you do not fully wake up. As a result, your body never reaches the deep restorative stages of sleep that are necessary for cellular repair, brain detoxification, immune recovery, and mitochondrial energy production. This creates a hidden form of exhaustion that many women cannot explain. Another important factor is chronic stress. Emotional stress, poor sleep habits, blood sugar instability, and even inflammation can overstimulate the adrenal glands for years. Eventually, the cortisol pattern becomes dysfunctional. Instead of being high in the morning and low at night, cortisol may become elevated late at night and abnormally low in the morning. This is why many women feel wired but tired. At night, the brain stays overly stimulated, making sleep lighter and less restorative. Then in the morning, cortisol is too low to generate proper energy. The result is fatigue, brain fog, irritability, low motivation, and dependence on caffeine just to function. Insulin resistance can make this problem even worse. After 50, the body often becomes less sensitive to insulin, especially when diets are high in sugar and refined carbohydrates. When insulin resistance develops, blood sugar levels fluctuate more dramatically during the night. If blood sugar drops too low while sleeping, the body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to raise glucose levels quickly. This stress response can interrupt deep sleep repeatedly throughout the night without a person fully realizing it. The liver also plays a major role here. During sleep, the liver helps regulate blood sugar and supports detoxification processes. But fatty liver, excessive sugar intake, alcohol, and metabolic dysfunction can impair this system. When the liver struggles to maintain stable glucose levels overnight, the adrenal glands are forced to compensate by releasing more cortisol. Over time, this creates hormonal chaos. Nutrient deficiencies can further damage energy production. Magnesium deficiency is extremely common in women over 50 and directly affects the nervous system and adrenal function. Magnesium helps calm the brain, regulate cortisol, and support deep sleep. Low magnesium levels can contribute to muscle tension, anxiety, nighttime waking, and morning fatigue. Vitamin B12 deficiency is another overlooked issue. B12 is essential for red blood cell formation, oxygen delivery, and mitochondrial energy production. Low levels can cause profound fatigue, weakness, dizziness, and cognitive fog. Vitamin D deficiency may also worsen inflammation, immune dysfunction, and muscle fatigue. When these deficiencies combine with hormonal imbalance and cortisol disruption, the body begins every morning already exhausted. What makes this condition so frustrating is that standard sleep alone often does not fix it. A woman may sleep longer, but if cortisol rhythms remain abnormal and metabolic stress continues overnight, the body still cannot fully recover. The solution involves restoring hormonal balance, stabilizing blood sugar, supporting adrenal health, improving sleep quality, and reducing chronic inflammation. Prioritizing protein, reducing nighttime sugar intake, improving magnesium status, managing stress hormones, and supporting liver health can dramatically improve morning energy over time. The important thing to understand is this: waking up exhausted every morning is not something the body is designed to do. It is often a warning sign that important hormonal and metabolic systems are under stress. And once those systems are supported correctly, many women experience a remarkable improvement in energy, mental clarity, sleep quality, and overall vitality. Many women over 50 wake up exhausted every morning without realizing that the real problem may begin with hormonal changes happening deep inside the brain and reproductive system. You may think you slept enough hours, but if your hormones are no longer supporting restorative sleep, your body can remain in a constant state of fatigue. One of the biggest hidden causes is the decline of estrogen and progesterone after menopause. These two hormones do far more than regulate reproduction. They directly affect the brain, nervous system, metabolism, body temperature, mood stability, and most importantly, sleep quality. Progesterone is often called the body's natural calming hormone. It helps relax the nervous system by supporting GABA activity in the brain, which is a neurotransmitter responsible for promoting calmness and deeper sleep. When progesterone levels begin to decline during perimenopause and menopause, many women experience lighter sleep, increased nighttime anxiety, restlessness, and frequent waking during the night. Even if you remain in bed for 8 hours, the quality of that sleep becomes poor. The brain may never fully enter the deep sleep stages that are necessary for repair and recovery. During deep sleep, the body performs critical functions such as tissue repair, immune regulation, hormone balancing, memory processing, and detoxification of waste products from the brain. When this stage is interrupted repeatedly, the body wakes up feeling unrefreshed and mentally foggy. Estrogen also plays a major role in sleep regulation. This hormone helps regulate serotonin and melatonin, two important chemicals involved in mood and sleep cycles. Serotonin supports emotional stability and contributes to melatonin production, which controls the body's internal sleep clock. As estrogen declines, serotonin levels may decrease, which can contribute to mood swings, irritability, anxiety, and sleep disturbances. At the same time, melatonin production may become less effective, making it harder to maintain deep, uninterrupted sleep throughout the night. Low estrogen can also disrupt body temperature control. This is why many women over 50 experience night sweats and hot flashes. These sudden temperature shifts can repeatedly wake the brain during sleep, even if the person does not fully remember waking up. Every interruption reduces the amount of restorative sleep the body receives. Over time, this creates a cycle of chronic fatigue and hormonal stress. The effects go beyond feeling tired. Poor sleep caused by hormonal decline can directly affect metabolism and insulin sensitivity. When sleep quality decreases, the body becomes more resistant to insulin, the hormone responsible for moving sugar from the bloodstream into the cells for energy. As insulin resistance worsens, blood sugar levels become unstable. This can cause energy crashes, sugar cravings, increased belly fat accumulation, and even more fatigue during the day. The adrenal glands are also heavily affected. When estrogen and progesterone decline, the body often relies more on stress hormones like cortisol to maintain balance. But elevated nighttime cortisol can keep the brain overly alert while sleeping. This creates a state where the body is physically tired but neurologically stimulated. Many women describe this feeling as being exhausted but unable to fully relax. Over time, this chronic hormonal stress can weaken adrenal resilience and disrupt the natural circadian rhythm. Normally, cortisol should be low at night and gradually rise in the morning to help you feel awake and energized. But hormonal imbalance can reverse this pattern, causing poor sleep at night and extreme fatigue in the morning. Another major issue is mitochondrial energy production. Mitochondria are the tiny energy-producing structures inside your cells. Hormonal decline, inflammation, and poor sleep all reduce mitochondrial efficiency. As a result, the body produces less cellular energy, leaving muscles weaker and the brain less focused. This is one reason many women over 50 feel physically drained even after minimal activity. Nutrient deficiencies can make this situation even worse. Magnesium deficiency is extremely common after menopause and contributes to muscle tension, poor sleep quality, anxiety, and fatigue. Vitamin D deficiency can weaken immune function and muscle performance, while low B vitamins may impair nervous system function and energy metabolism. The thyroid gland may also become affected. Hormonal changes during menopause can influence thyroid hormone balance, slowing metabolism and reducing overall energy production. Symptoms such as cold intolerance, weight gain, dry skin, constipation, and severe fatigue may appear alongside poor sleep. What's important to understand is that waking up tired every morning is not simply a normal part of aging. In many cases, it is a sign that the body's hormonal communication systems are under stress. When estrogen and progesterone decline, the effects spread throughout the entire body, from the brain and adrenal glands to the liver, thyroid, metabolism, and sleep centers. Once these underlying imbalances are recognized and properly supported through nutrition, stress reduction, blood sugar control, sleep restoration, and hormonal balance, many women experience dramatic improvements in energy, mental clarity, mood stability, and overall health. What if the reason you wake up exhausted every morning has nothing to do with age and everything to do with blood sugar instability happening while you sleep? Many women over 50 are unknowingly dealing with insulin resistance, a metabolic condition that can silently damage sleep quality, hormone balance, energy production, and brain function long before diabetes is ever diagnosed. The problem often starts with insulin. Insulin is the hormone responsible for moving glucose, or blood sugar, from the bloodstream into the cells where it can be used for energy. Under healthy conditions, insulin keeps blood sugar stable throughout the day and night. But after the age of 50, especially during and after menopause, the body often becomes less sensitive to insulin. This condition is known as insulin resistance. When cells stop responding properly to insulin, the pancreas is forced to produce larger amounts of it to keep blood sugar under control. Over time, this creates chronic metabolic stress. Blood sugar levels become unstable, fat storage increases, inflammation rises, and energy production inside the cells begins to decline. One of the biggest hidden effects of insulin resistance happens during sleep. At night, the body should enter a stable metabolic state where blood sugar remains balanced, and the brain can move into deep restorative sleep. But in insulin resistance, glucose regulation becomes dysfunctional. Blood sugar may rise too high after late-night eating, especially meals rich in sugar or refined carbohydrates. Then, several hours later, glucose levels can suddenly crash. When blood sugar drops too low during sleep, the body sees this as an emergency. To protect the brain from low glucose levels, the adrenal glands release stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These hormones rapidly increase blood sugar by signaling the liver to release stored glucose into the bloodstream. The problem is that this stress response can wake the brain repeatedly throughout the night. Even if you do not fully wake up or remember it, your nervous system may constantly shift into a lighter stage of sleep. This prevents the body from reaching the deep sleep cycles necessary for hormone repair, immune restoration, brain detoxification, and cellular recovery. As a result, many women wake up feeling exhausted, foggy, anxious, and mentally drained. This is one reason some women feel completely dependent on caffeine every morning. Their body never achieved true overnight recovery because stress hormones were activated repeatedly during sleep. Insulin resistance also affects cortisol balance directly. Normally, cortisol should be low at night and gradually rise in the morning to support healthy energy levels. But unstable blood sugar forces the body to release cortisol at inappropriate times, especially overnight. This disrupts the circadian rhythm and creates hormonal confusion throughout the body. The brain becomes overstimulated at night and underpowered in the morning. Over time, this constant hormonal stress can affect nearly every organ system. The liver becomes overloaded trying to regulate glucose production. The pancreas works harder to produce insulin. The adrenal glands become strained from chronic cortisol release. And the mitochondria inside the cells begin producing less energy. Mitochondria are the energy factories of the body. When insulin resistance worsens, mitochondria become less efficient at converting nutrients into usable energy. This contributes to fatigue, muscle weakness, poor exercise tolerance, and slower metabolism. Many women notice stubborn belly fat during this stage as well. This is not simply a cosmetic issue. Excess abdominal fat is strongly linked to insulin resistance and inflammation. Belly fat itself produces inflammatory chemicals that further impair insulin sensitivity and worsen hormonal imbalance. Sleep quality continues to decline as this cycle progresses. Another overlooked factor is the effect of insulin resistance on the brain. The brain relies heavily on stable glucose metabolism for concentration, memory, and emotional balance. When blood sugar fluctuates overnight, the brain may not receive consistent fuel. This can contribute to morning brain fog, irritability, anxiety, low motivation, and poor mental clarity. Nutrient deficiencies can make the problem even worse. Magnesium deficiency is extremely common in insulin-resistant individuals because excess insulin affects magnesium balance inside the cells. Magnesium is critical for insulin sensitivity, nervous system relaxation, muscle recovery, and sleep quality. Low magnesium levels can intensify nighttime restlessness and fatigue. Vitamin D deficiency is also associated with poor insulin function and chronic inflammation. Low vitamin D may weaken immune health, reduce muscle strength, and contribute to metabolic dysfunction. The thyroid gland may also slow down in response to chronic metabolic stress. When thyroid hormones decline, metabolism slows further, making fatigue and weight gain even more severe. What makes insulin resistance dangerous is that many women do not realize they have it. Blood sugar may still appear normal, during routine testing, while insulin levels remain chronically elevated for years behind the scenes. The body continues struggling silently every night. The good news is that insulin resistance can often improve significantly with proper metabolic support. Stabilizing blood sugar, reducing processed carbohydrates, increasing protein intake, improving sleep quality, supporting magnesium and vitamin D levels, and lowering chronic inflammation can dramatically improve energy and hormonal balance. Waking up exhausted every morning is not always a sleep problem. In many cases, it is a metabolic warning sign that the body's blood sugar control system is under stress. And once insulin balance improves, many women experience deeper sleep, clearer thinking, more stable energy, and a major improvement in overall health. Many women over 50 wake up every morning feeling physically drained, mentally foggy, and completely unmotivated, even when they believe they are eating reasonably well. What many do not realize is that the body's energy systems depend heavily on key vitamins and minerals, and after menopause, nutrient deficiencies become far more common. In many cases, the real cause of chronic fatigue is not simply aging, it is a hidden breakdown in cellular energy production caused by deficiencies in magnesium, vitamin D, vitamin B12, and other essential nutrients. The body cannot create energy properly without these nutrients. Every cell in the body depends on mitochondria, the tiny structures responsible for producing energy. These mitochondria convert nutrients from food into ATP, which is the main energy currency used by the brain, muscles, heart, liver, and nervous system. But when important vitamins and minerals are lacking, mitochondrial function slows down dramatically. As a result, the body begins every day already exhausted. One of the most important nutrients involved in this process is magnesium. Magnesium participates in hundreds of biochemical reactions inside the body, including muscle relaxation, nervous system regulation, blood sugar control, and energy production. It also plays a major role in supporting healthy sleep. Unfortunately, magnesium deficiency becomes increasingly common after the age of 50. Chronic stress, poor diet, high sugar intake, insulin resistance, digestive problems, and certain medications can all lower magnesium levels over time. When magnesium becomes depleted, the nervous system becomes overstimulated. Muscles remain tense, the brain struggles to relax, and sleep quality begins to decline. This creates a cycle where the body cannot fully recover overnight. Low magnesium levels can also interfere with melatonin production, making it harder to enter deep restorative sleep. Many women with magnesium deficiency experience nighttime waking, muscle cramps, heart palpitations, anxiety, and morning fatigue without realizing the connection. Another major contributor to exhaustion is vitamin B12 deficiency. Vitamin B12 is essential for red blood cell formation, oxygen transport, brain function, and nerve health. It helps the body convert food into usable cellular energy. But as women age, stomach acid production often declines, making it harder to absorb B12 from food sources. This problem becomes even worse in individuals taking acid-reducing medications or dealing with digestive inflammation. Without enough vitamin B12, the body struggles to deliver oxygen efficiently to tissues and organs. The brain becomes sluggish, muscles feel weak, and energy production declines. Symptoms may include severe fatigue, brain fog, dizziness, tingling sensations, memory problems, and poor concentration. Many women assume these symptoms are simply part of getting older, when they may actually reflect a nutritional deficiency affecting the nervous system and metabolism. Vitamin D deficiency is another hidden factor. Vitamin D acts more like a hormone than a traditional vitamin. It influences immune health, inflammation control, muscle function, insulin sensitivity, and mood regulation. Low vitamin D levels have been strongly linked to fatigue, muscle weakness, depression, poor sleep quality, and chronic inflammation. As estrogen levels decline after menopause, vitamin D becomes even more important for maintaining metabolic and hormonal stability. Low vitamin D may also worsen insulin resistance, which can contribute to unstable blood sugar and nighttime cortisol spikes. This disrupts sleep quality and leaves the body feeling exhausted in the morning. Iron deficiency can also contribute to chronic fatigue, especially in women who experienced years of menstrual blood loss before menopause or those with digestive absorption problems. Iron is necessary for hemoglobin production, which allows red blood cells to carry oxygen throughout the body. Without enough oxygen delivery, cells cannot produce energy efficiently. This can result in weakness, shortness of breath, cold intolerance, low stamina, and persistent exhaustion even after adequate sleep. The thyroid gland is heavily influenced by nutrient status as well. The thyroid depends on nutrients like selenium, zinc, iodine, iron, and vitamin D to produce and activate thyroid hormones properly. When these nutrients become deficient, metabolism slows down. This can create symptoms such as fatigue, weight gain, constipation, dry skin, hair thinning, and low body temperature. The liver also suffers when nutrient deficiencies are present. The liver is responsible for detoxification, hormone processing, blood sugar regulation, and nutrient storage. Without proper nutritional support, liver function may become less efficient, increasing inflammation and metabolic stress throughout the body. Over time, the combination of poor sleep, hormone imbalance, mitochondrial dysfunction, and nutrient depletion creates deep systemic fatigue. What makes this issue dangerous is that many deficiencies develop gradually over years. Symptoms often become normalized because they appear slowly. Women may believe it is normal to wake up exhausted, rely on caffeine constantly, experience brain fog, or feel physically weak after 50. But the body is often signaling that important cellular systems are lacking the nutrients needed for proper function. The good news is that correcting these deficiencies can dramatically improve energy, mental clarity, sleep quality, muscle function, and overall metabolic health. Supporting the body with nutrient-dense foods, adequate protein, proper digestion, balanced blood sugar, sunlight exposure, and targeted nutritional support can help restore normal cellular energy production. Waking up tired every morning is not always caused by lack of sleep alone. In many women over 50, the deeper problem is that the body simply does not have the nutrients required to produce and maintain healthy energy at the cellular level. What if your body is working all night long while you sleep, but instead of restoring your energy, it is fighting inflammation, blood sugar instability, and poor detoxification? Many women over 50 wake up exhausted every morning not because they slept too little, but because critical organs like the liver are under constant metabolic stress. One of the most overlooked causes of chronic morning fatigue is poor liver function combined with nighttime inflammation. The liver is one of the most important organs in the human body. It regulates blood sugar, processes hormones, removes toxins, supports digestion, stores vitamins, and helps maintain metabolic balance during sleep. While you rest at night, the liver remains highly active. In fact, nighttime is when the body performs many of its most important repair and detoxification processes. But when the liver becomes overloaded or sluggish, the entire body begins to suffer. After the age of 50, several factors can impair liver function. Hormonal changes during menopause, insulin resistance, increased abdominal fat, poor diet, chronic inflammation, alcohol consumption, processed foods, medications, and nutrient deficiencies can all place significant stress on the liver. Over time, this stress may lead to fatty liver changes and reduced metabolic efficiency. One of the liver's key responsibilities during sleep is stabilizing blood sugar levels. The brain depends on a continuous supply of glucose throughout the night. Normally, the liver carefully releases stored glucose in controlled amounts to maintain stable energy while you sleep. But when liver function is impaired, blood sugar regulation becomes unstable. This often triggers nighttime cortisol release. If blood sugar drops too low, the adrenal glands respond by releasing cortisol and adrenaline to quickly raise glucose levels. These stress hormones can interrupt deep sleep repeatedly during the night, even if you do not fully wake up. As a result, the nervous system remains partially activated instead of entering deep restorative sleep. This is one reason many women wake up feeling exhausted, anxious, mentally foggy, or unrested despite spending enough time in bed. The liver also plays a major role in hormone metabolism. After menopause, the body becomes more sensitive to hormonal imbalance because estrogen and progesterone levels naturally decline. The liver is responsible for processing and clearing excess hormones efficiently. But when liver function slows down, hormonal regulation becomes less effective. This can contribute to symptoms such as fatigue, sleep disturbances, weight gain, inflammation, mood changes, and metabolic dysfunction. Inflammation itself is another major problem. Chronic low-grade inflammation increases significantly with age, especially in individuals with insulin resistance, poor diet, excess visceral fat, or sedentary lifestyles. Inflammatory chemicals called cytokines can directly interfere with mitochondrial function, hormone signaling, and brain chemistry. Mitochondria are the energy-producing structures inside cells. When inflammation damages mitochondrial efficiency, the body produces less ATP, which is the primary source of cellular energy. The result is deep physical and mental fatigue. Inflammation also affects the brain. Elevated inflammatory markers can disrupt neurotransmitters involved in mood, motivation, sleep, and cognitive performance. Many women experience brain fog, low motivation, memory difficulties, and emotional exhaustion because inflammation is interfering with normal neurological function. The immune system may remain chronically activated throughout the night. This prevents the body from fully entering repair mode during sleep. Instead of recovering, the body spends hours managing metabolic stress and inflammatory activity. Another important factor is digestive health. The liver works closely with the digestive system to process fats, absorb nutrients, and remove toxins through bile production. But poor gut health, processed foods, excessive sugar intake, and low-fiber diets can increase intestinal inflammation and place additional stress on the liver. This creates a cycle where poor digestion worsens inflammation, and inflammation further weakens metabolic function. Nutrient deficiencies become more common as this cycle continues. The liver stores and activates several important nutrients, including vitamin D, vitamin B12, iron, and folate. If liver function becomes compromised, the body may struggle to maintain proper nutrient balance. Low levels of these nutrients can further reduce energy production, oxygen delivery, immune health, and nervous system function. Sleep quality also suffers when inflammation is elevated. Inflammatory stress can interfere with melatonin production and increase nighttime cortisol levels. The brain remains in a lighter stage of sleep instead of reaching the deep restorative phases needed for tissue repair and hormonal recovery. This leaves many women waking up already fatigued before the day even begins. The thyroid gland may also slow down in response to chronic inflammation and liver dysfunction. Since the liver helps convert inactive thyroid hormone into its active form, impaired liver health can contribute to sluggish metabolism, low energy, weight gain, and cold intolerance. What's important to understand is that chronic fatigue is often not caused by one single problem. In many women over 50, multiple systems become interconnected. Hormonal decline, insulin resistance, liver stress, inflammation, nutrient deficiencies, and poor sleep begin feeding into each other continuously. The body becomes trapped in a cycle of metabolic exhaustion. The good news is that supporting liver health and reducing inflammation can dramatically improve energy levels and sleep quality. Reducing sugar intake, improving insulin sensitivity, increasing nutrient-dense foods, supporting gut health, prioritizing protein, managing stress hormones, and improving sleep habits can help restore normal metabolic function. Waking up tired every morning is not always a sign of aging. Very often, it is a signal that the body's repair systems are overwhelmed by inflammation and metabolic stress occurring silently throughout the night.